Oh, it didn't say this podcast is being recorded.
It said it for me.
Did it?
What's this? Is this 53?
It is 53. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the podcast, episode 53. Did you want to do anything for this episode, mate? You said apparently, guys, Reece doesn't like the would you rather or the quick fire questions. I think they're quite good. And I'll tell you what, I'll do a poll on Spotify. I think we should do something like that each episode. Let us know what you think. Reece doesn't like it.
I just think they're they're not generic, but I just think there's not much substance. That being said, you could argue most podcasts there's not much substance.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I think people just like chat, don't they? Like, majority of this podcast is us just chatting. Like, obviously we'll answer questions and stuff, but a lot of it is us just chatting shit.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. But yeah, how's your week been, mate? Did you want to start off? Do you want to do an announcement? Do you want to do a
It's not an announcement, is it? We'll just apologise if we offend anybody with anything that we say. So obviously, Tom, if you're still listening to us, we do apologise.
Stacked it off. He's gone. You know what? Fuck them guys.
Yeah, I won't like them anymore. Especially you. But no, like, obviously, people will have probably seen it on social media. Like, we don't mean to offend anybody. Like, we just take the piss out of everything. We take the piss out of loads of things in the industry. We never mean to deliberately single someone out, and we wouldn't do that. And Tom knows us. Like, if we spent loads of time in person with Tom, we would joke with him about different things. Like, we take the piss out of each other all the time. It's like a mate banter kind of thing. So Tom knows that. We don't need to go into it. But if anybody is ever offended by anything on the podcast,
message us.
Please feel free to message us. But also, please know we are not deliberately like offending you. We would never mean to do that. But yeah, like, things get misinterpreted. Like, yeah. All right, let's move on. Do you want to do the would you rathers, or do you want to do anything like that, or do you want to just crack on? It's going to be a short.
Do you want to do a random? Yeah. Do you want to do two would you rathers randomly?
Randomly.
Yeah. So send me a link, and what we'll do is we'll just scroll. And
why don't you go on your own phone, mate?
Okay, fair enough.
I do enough for this podcast.
Sorry, mate. Would you rather questions? Well, and then click on a random website and then go through there.
Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance along to every single song you hear?
Forced to dance along or sing along? Dance.
Really?
100%. Yeah.
I'd rather sing.
No, I think it'd be really awkward. Imagine in the gym, mate, every song that gets played, like,
you're dancing, you'll be able to do a set. You could kind of sing and do a set.
Yeah, but imagine like top set of a hack and you start singing.
Yeah, imagine dancing. You wouldn't be able to dance, would you?
Yeah. It would be a bit of a challenge, actually, now I think about it. Yeah, fair enough. I actually got asked by Gio Ashley. Would you rather would be from Gio Ashley. He asked today. So when it comes to Gio, let's have a look at what he said. Would you rather? Actually, I've got two would you rather questions. Would you rather have tattooed on your forehead itchy arse, or no? Would you rather have tattooed on your forehead itchy arse, or permanently have an itchy arse?
I'd rather permanently have an itchy arse. I wouldn't want anything tattooed on my forehead.
You wouldn't, fair enough. And then I've got another one, mate. Josh Jenkins, this is about you. Would you rather drag your balls over sandpaper for a mile or do a full rep on the hack?
It's about both of us, that.
Not about me, mate. My hack's a full run now, bro.
Yeah, because you copied what I said. You copied me.
I don't know about
that. What was it? I'd rather do a full rep on the hack. It's not really a question, that, is it, mate? I don't want to drag my balls across sandpaper. If you're gonna joke, if you're gonna take the piss out of us, mate, I'm gonna answer it very seriously. I'd rather do a full rep on the hack.
Fair enough.
I got Josh, quite a few questions, actually.
Yeah, hopefully we haven't offended Josh.
Yeah, hopefully not. Right, one more each. Would you rather have telekinesis, which is the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds? It's quite good, that. Would you rather be able to move
I
things
think
with your mind just by like looking at it, or would you rather be able to read people's minds?
read minds, because then I'd like be able to go to a business mentor and I'd be able to see if he's just looking at me and
Not even charged, not get charged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'd like to read minds.
Mate,
Like
imagine mate, that'd be horrendous. Like, especially if it was uncontrollable, and it would end up being, because you'd just want to know what everyone was thinking. Like, that'd be a mess.
Yeah.
You'd be you'd be depressed within a week.
Yeah, I'd say so. Imagine you walk by and somebody, like, you just look at somebody and they look at you and think, what a fucking gimp.
Imagine though if it was like, oh fucking hell, he's massive. Then you'd be like,
yeah. Yeah, you're like, hey. Or imagine it's the other way, or like it's just you walk past a guy who happens to like guys, and then like you can just sense that somebody's looking at your ass because it pops into your head like, oh, he's got a good ass, and you're looking around like, I wonder who's that.
No, I feel like you'd have to control it. You'd have to want to read their mind. It doesn't just happen. Otherwise, you'd have everybody's thoughts in your head constantly. It'd be horrible.
Yeah, it would be. It wouldn't be nice.
To be fair, though, moving things with your mind.
I'm not going on a website.
Moving things with your mind isn't really that practical, is it?
No, it's really not.
There's an odd few times where it'd be like, oh, that'd be good. Like if you needed to move your car or something, you just went, oh, like that'd be sound. Yeah. But when else would you use it? Like if someone was going to die, you needed to move something that was too heavy. Like other than that,
or let's say you're doing like a dumbbell RDO and you don't want to do the stupid shit and you don't want to move the dumbbells. So like the 80s, you know, at Rotherham, absolute ball ache to pick up.
I wonder if you'd be really, really strong because you could just move it with your mind. I wonder if that's what Keefe does. That's how Keefe's so strong, mate. He's got telekinesis. I'll tell you what, he's got telekinesis in.
Yeah.
That's what we'll start saying now. Now anyone we see that's really strong, we're like, bullshit, like telekinesis. He doesn't even train it, just telekinesis.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how they got really good legs? Don't know.
Probably a bit of telekinesis,
yeah. 100 milligrams of telekinesis, 300 milligrams telekinesis on Monday. That's what it is. Right. So I've only got about 7 or 8 questions, mate. And to be fair, 2 of which were the would you rathers. So if you want to go through yours, feel free.
Okay, so Will Razzo, good old Will Razzo, has asked me a question in the DMs. So he put, question for pod. What things would you consider when coaching a client whose work environment is changing? E.g., one week they have a vigorous labor job, moving heavy stuff, and the next week they have an office task to do all week. Does it involve more input from the client and possibly more tracking options in Google Sheets? E.g., how vigorous was work, then input scale 1 to 10. So to be fair, like I think it depends on the actual sort of severity of the difference. Like if it's a huge difference, then I would generally be like, right, here's your, let's say, labor macros, and here's your, let's say, sedentary job macros. If it was that drastic, usually it's not that drastic. It's usually like, okay, I've got a pretty active job. Some days I'm like doing heavy lifting. Other days I'm still on my feet a lot, but you know, I'm not as busy. But yeah, like you could easily do that. You could easily have a set structure for when they have their more sedentary days, and you have a set structure when they have their more physical days. Like you would have a training day and a non-training day target. Yeah, so you could have, if you were setting them out, let's say on Google Sheets, you could have, right, here's your physical days macros. I've done this with clients before. They don't have training day and non-training day macros. They have work day and non-work day. So I might have a client who works 4 days on, 3 days off. And those 4 days are, let's say, really, really busy, active, 12-hour on their feet, you know, moving a lot of heavy stuff, whatever their job is. And then I'll have them on work day macros and non-work day macros. So it's the same kind of thing. You could do that. I wouldn't recommend giving them loads and loads of different targets. Like I wouldn't have a training day, a non-training day, a training day work day, a training day non-work day, a training day sedentary work day. Like it would just be too much. Just give them 2 options, like, and be like, right, when you're having your busier days, your more active days, this is what I want you doing. This is your food. This is your expenditure. When you're having your less active work days, this is what I want you doing. This is your food. This is your expenditure. And you would generally try and work it so they're probably training a little bit more on their less busy days, and try and potentially work around. So you might have them on, let's say, a 4 day per week split, and they might be working 5 of those days. So you have two weekend days that they train, and then they train on the 2 of the work days. But then let's say on the sedentary work week, they could easily train the 4 days, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then they could have potentially like the weekend off, or the weekend could carry over into the next week. Like, these are all things that you would discuss with the client. But yeah, I feel like that's covered it enough. Just, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. It's not going to be that meticulous where all of a sudden they just gain 10 pounds because they had an office job for that day or whatever. So yeah, just prepare it sort of in that way, so you've got 2 different scenarios.
Mate, yeah, you spoke for the last 5 minutes. Can't really say too much.
Yeah, that's the end of the podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. Good answer.
So,
did he say tips as well? I think
hey?
he might have said tips. Did he say tips on how to like manage at the start? Because I think the standard kind of structure would be key, and establishing kind of your routine regarding like
said,
you'll know
what would you consider if it was your client?
Okay, yeah. Well, just looking at generally, like you said, it's going to be, in a way, you know what you have in front of you. Like I always say this to clients, like when it comes to work, you're not just called up randomly. Like sometimes it could happen, but the vast majority of times you'll know, right, I'm in this week doing this, and then you just plan accordingly. So if you know you've got a busy week, you just need to be on it with your structure, your bed times, your wake up times, your meal times, your training times, etc. Need to be on it. And then also at the same time, from a coach to client standpoint, if I had a client apply and they said this to me initially, I wouldn't be out the gate being like, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this. You can, and I've had clients where they have like football demands or sporting demands or work demands, and we'll make manipulations. But usually it's like, right, let's just build up a good relationship, see how data's interpreted, and then go from there. And you'll notice signs, like you'll see things pop up. And I think a good thing from a coaching standpoint is as you get more experience, you can really highlight those sorts of red flags a little bit earlier than they actually are kind of perceived from a normal kind of setting. And I think as long as you can look for those, you can go, right, this isn't working, let's make a change here. But usually it's just a case of assessing and going from there. So, yeah. We got a question, Max Fowler Fitness. Now, he's asked this, I think, a few times. He's DM'd me, so I do apologise, Max. I think Max has asked, he's not one of your clients, is he? Max Fowler Fitness?
No.
Yeah. No, I feel like he's asked us a few questions before. I didn't know if he was one of your clients, or he might have been one of mine. I've got too many at this point. I can't think of all the
Can't
names.
keep track.
I just look at him and think Go Cardless number 53 or Go Cardless 350. I'm like, oh yeah, fair enough. No, in all seriousness, he's put tips for sunbed / reducing a chance of cancer. Well, to be fair, reducing chance of cancer would be probably to die instantly, because everything gives you cancer. So if you don't want cancer, die now. That's what I'd say.
If you want a serious answer, I would wear sun cream. As much as it's a ball ache to do it, wear sun cream. Going to reduce your chances, obviously. There's no such thing as like a healthy tan. Like ultimately, any kind of tan, whether it be from the sun or whether it be from sunbeds, is going to increase your risk of skin cancer. Also just increase your risk of aging, increase your risk of any kind of skin damage. But using obviously sun cream with like UV protection is your best bet. And it's one of those where it's like a bit annoying because you might use sun cream and go on for 10 minutes and not get as much of a tan as if you didn't. But generally, what's better for you, getting a bit of a tan or protecting your skin a little bit more? Also, you could just not use them. Like, you don't have to use them. I have clients that say, I don't really want to use them. Because I would generally recommend it, in the run up to a contest, like when you wanting to put your tan on. If you have a bit of a base tan already in terms of your actual skin color, the tan's going to probably look better. But I have clients who are like, I don't want to do it, which is fine. Like, and also I would look at your like genetic component in terms of, have any of your family members suffered with cancer or skin cancer especially, then obviously you're going to be at a greater risk of catching it or getting it. But yeah, like ultimately it's not going to be safe 100%, but then a lot of things that we do aren't 100% safe.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of those kind of situations where, like, unfortunately, anything can give you cancer. Some beds can promote a higher chance, 100%. Is it guaranteed? No. You could be an individual who goes out in the sun, gets burnt once, and gets skin cancer.
Like we've said as well, like, you could get run over by a bus tomorrow. Like, there's, if you were to overthink those things, and obviously there's caution. We're not saying don't be cautious, like, but we're just saying, like, imagine if you were to overthink all those things, like, you'd just be a stress head constantly. So be safe and manage it as best you can, but also just understand that everything that we do comes with a risk.
What do you do sunbed protocol now, mate? 2 lots a week?
I haven't been on for ages, mate. I'll be honest with you.
Or
Too busy.
yeah, too busy. Yeah, I'm like two times a week for like, my sunbed's not as powerful as like a normal sunbed, so it's about 3 or 4 minutes extra. So
If I had one,
40
like obviously you've got one at the office, haven't you? Your mum's office.
Yeah.
Like, if I had one, it'd be easier. But I mean, to be fair, I can't complain. There is a sunbed right there. It's like 2-minute walk, but it does close early. It closes at like 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hadn't had a chance recently. I do need to get back on top of it though, because when I get lean in this diet, I don't want to be pale and lean. I want to be shredded and tanned.
Oh, but you don't want to be like that nasty pale, you know, that like when you really lean and you pale, it looks quite cool because it's just nasty.
But I'm not going to get really lean, am I? I'm just going to get a bit leaner.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, AJ was, you need to be a lot leaner.
I know AJ was calling me out.
Yeah, he was like, don't get instantly. Finn was like, oh, I'm dieting. And AJ was like, good, you should be. And he was like, what do you get into? He was like, and Finn was like, I'm thinking like probably 195, 200, probably get to 210. He was like, don't get above 200, mate. Don't get above 200. You do not need to get this fat again. Don't ever get this fat again. Finn, look at where you are now. You should never look like this again.
This isn't what happened.
It was kind of like that.
It wasn't really, was it at all?
No. It was a nice conversation. And to be fair, I do actually agree. Like, it means the prep's going to be easier. I personally think 200 would be a bit low.
I think I'd be sound if I started at 2. Mate, I'd be sound. You'd be sound anyway. You'd get it off. But I think probably maximum I'd want to start would be 210, which is what I said before. I'd like to start at the same weight as last time, which was 207. Because I can be like, right, this is how I looked at 207 last time when I started. This is now. And that's what I kind of want to do.
You realise that you've made no progress.
And then I look back and go,
natural
body. Just jump straight on gear.
Yeah, no progress at all. Start prep 3 years afterwards. It's no difference in body weight. Step on stage the same weight. Get third again, and you're like, fuck, I haven't even got any better.
Right. This is from Curtis James Borum, who is my client now. I'm signing him up today. So yeah, thank you for the question, mate. So he asked, to become most optimal human of all time, should I wear my blue light blockers in hot shower pre-bed? Yes, of course, mate. If you're not already doing that, what are you playing at?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. I think we should be wearing blue light blockers. Like,
in all seriousness, like I shower in the dark.
Yeah, I know you say that, don't you? Yeah.
Shannon hates it. Like, we go down, obviously we go down to bed together because our living area is upstairs, where I am now. We'll go down to bed together, and I make sure all the lights are off. And she's like, she keeps trying to turn the lights on. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I hate it. So yeah,
you'll slip over in the shower.
No, we have a little duck light. You remember that Finn the Duck thing that I told you about?
Yeah.
So Shannon, there's this thing called Finn the Duck. And it was like sponsored on Instagram all the time. I bet people will know what I mean. Basically, Shannon bought me it. So it's like a little duck that you press and it's light. So we use that. But at the minute, because it's still light outside when we go to bed, I just open the blinds a tiny bit. So it's like a little bit of light that comes in, which is quite nice. And then I can see when I'm not in pitch black in the shower, like not a clue what I'm doing, using like shaving cream on my head. I know what I'm using, but I do keep it like dark. Otherwise, mate, imagine going to like, if you shower in the dark, if you chill out before bed, like you've got your room quite dark, like you've got your blue light blockers on, you maybe got TV on but quiet, and you know brightness is down, and then you just go and have a shower with the lights on. In my opinion, you're a psychopath.
I said to Sanaya the other day, so do you see the light above me? So she's lying underneath that at like 9:30 and like at night, and I come in, I'm like, that's criminal. I was like, there's a lamp, turn the lamp on.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I hate.
But people, if you've not like, if you haven't implemented it, like Shannon, for example, like Shannon could stare at a light for 3 hours before bed and she'd just fall asleep like that because she doesn't really give a shit, and she hasn't implemented trying not to do that. So like, because we have, and because like I know how much better I feel going to bed in a relaxed state, you know, not being exposed to blue light for hours before, or at least being exposed to a lesser dose, like I know that I feel a lot better. Like if I was to go and just have a shower and put the light on, I'd be like, oh, like,
a vampire.
That's what I feel like. Yeah.
Just eroding.
So yeah, you could put them on, or you just turn the light off and shower in pitch black, mate.
Yeah. Do you ever
If you
watch
fall over and break
You
anything,
ever
it's
watch
not
I
my
Am
fault.
Legend?
Yeah.
You ever watch I Am Legend? You know when the night time comes and like the zombies come out, it's like watch goes like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Should be like that, and your glasses come down instantly the second at a certain time. You're like, boop, boop, fuck, glasses on. Shit,
Yeah,
right.
like they're
Optimal.
attached to your face. To be fair,
Yeah.
mine are. I sleep in mine.
Yeah, I know you said that before. That's bonkers, mate.
I even
I
the other day.
I can't see anything. Like my Apple Watch, have to take it off.
The other day, I slept with an eye mask on, and then my blue light blockers on top, because the eye mask. I need to get a better one. The eye mask that I've got is one that Shannon had. It's like a pink one. So it's like, if it's still quite light outside, and even with our blinds down, like some light comes in. So I had the blue light blockers on top to make it even darker. But I looked really cool, mate.
That's optimal, that.
I am pretty optimal with stuff like that, yeah.
We need to make like the most optimal man going and just do generic sort of fitness stuff. So like it would be blue light blocker glasses. You know, what'd you say?
We'll end up offending people. And I'm being serious. No. Like, I don't want to be. I want to be PC and just be nice. Just be nice.
What about like some wrist straps on, so grip isn't a limiting factor in any day-to-day life?
What,
like they're on their phone, getting back to clients. They're getting back to phone and they're like strapping up so their phone can't slip out their hand.
I had someone say to me on my YouTube. They asked me if I strap into a cup of tea or strap into the steering wheel when I'm driving, because I was like talking about using straps. Did make me laugh.
Strap on to your mum every night.
Good comment, to be fair. Yeah. Right, I've got quite a lot of questions, mate, and we really haven't got long. So should we?
Come on then, Finn. Go through them, please.
Right, Miles Mason. What's each of your favourite Pokemon? And then he put, "I want a proper answer and an angry face."
Good question. Oh yeah. I liked Pokemon Emerald. It's either Rayquaza or Rayquaza. I quite liked him. He was a legendary Pokemon. He was hard to get because you had to get up to like this sky location and you have to jump over these things with your bike. It was a right ball ache. I had all the Reggies. So I had like Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel. I like Latios. I think that's the red one. Latias is the blue. There's two of them. Mate, I was a Pokemon geek back in the day. I'm trying to think if I have like one Pokemon that I absolutely loved.
You're a bit more Angry Birds, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I was way much more of a Pokemon geek.
Where's all your Pikachus in your room then? You got Angry Birds everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I need to get some Pikachu. No, some Pokemon like
Pikachu. Pikachu is my favourite, mate. Absolutely love Pikachu.
Such a boring answer,
mate. I don't have a clue, do I? I don't know any other.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay,
like
I'm going to go.
Someone who doesn't know about football, who the favourite footballer is, they're going to say Ronaldo or Messi.
Maybe Gen 1 or 2, like Blastoise. I like Blastoise.
Right.
Let's go with Blastoise.
We get it. We get it. You know some Pokemons. Well done. Right. Next question.
Cheers, mate.
Theo Constantine. So he's put for an SAS job, 6-week mini cut. How much would you cut your cals? What is the min you'd go?
Well, firstly, Theo, be careful with that sort of terminology now, mate. Thanks. So SAS job. Theo said it. We haven't. How much? It would depend on what his cal. What did he say his cals were already at, or are we just going to give a percentage? Because you can't really give. How
much would you cut your cals? What is the min?
As much as needed, mate. As much as needed. 6 weeks, you're not really going to lose that much muscle. Like you could
pretty much do like solely protein and fats. You could like if you needed to, like you'd feel like shit, but you'd get lean pretty quick. I wouldn't recommend just doing that off the bat, but if you were really needing to get a good amount off in that time, you could do like a protein sparing sort of fast kind of thing. But I would, again, I don't want to say like, oh, how low would you go, but ultimately try and make sure you're getting enough complete protein per meal, which is probably going to be at least like, even if you're a smaller individual, we're going to be looking at probably 150 grams protein plus, like up towards maybe 250 to 300, depending on how big you are. Keep your carbs as low as you possibly can and keep your fats at a healthy level. I wouldn't be looking at going any lower than 30 to 40 grams.
Yeah, good answer.
Thanks, mate. Chip Johnson, who is my client, he's doing well as Chip. Diddy Chip. Why are there so many shit coaches? Even some of the top guys don't put effort in.
Yeah,
Talking about us, mate.
100%. Yeah. Mate, I'm a top guy. You're not, so I don't know why I'd include you into that.
Yeah, exactly. Saying you don't put any effort.
Yeah, and you're not a top guy, and all I care about is social media and fame and our egos. So yeah, but no. In all seriousness, it's a shame. There's not a skill boundary or entry. Names can take you a long way. I was saying, like, when I have, like, not in my bio, maybe I'm not gonna have it in my name, but if it's in my bio, IFBB Pro, people will see that and think, oh wow, he must be such a good coach. And I'd hope that at that point, people look at me and don't think, oh, he's just a men's physique pro. That's it. It would be where,
I don't
oh,
think anybody thinks that. I don't think anybody thinks, oh, he's an IFBB pro, he must be a good coach. I think
no, but
people are
yeah,
just,
that's what I mean. I don't mean that in a, yeah, they assume, oh, he must know what he's doing. I want to be coached by him because I want to look like him.
I think it's attractive. That's what it is. It's not, I don't think people who sign up with IFBB pros just because they're IFBB pros, they don't do that because of their coaching prowess. They do it because, oh, that's cool that they're an IFBB pro. That might be something they want to do in the future. Or they just pick someone who looks good.
Yeah.
Which is, for in my opinion, for people who maybe aren't going to be the best of clients, that's kind of what their go-to is just, oh, that guy looks good or that girl looks good. I want to look like that. I'm going to apply for them.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I worded that not the best. You got it spot on. But yeah, we've said it before. Like, you can if you have a big name, if you have a pro title, if you have whatever, like, you can just be a popular individual. It doesn't mean you have to be a really good coach, and you can get away with not being a good coach, unfortunately, because people get into it and think, oh, I don't have to work that much in comparison to what you could do, and I can just, let's say, coach and make a decent income. And I don't think that's right. But unfortunately, in any industry, things like that happen. So,
right, I'm just going to stop it and send you a new link, mate.
Let's go.
Okay, we're straight back in. Chip Johnson also asked, favourite book or favourite author? And then he put both you and Reece, and then he put, if Reece can read.
Good one.
It's funny because you can't, so you ain't got a clue, have you?
Yeah. No, I can't. That's why I get all my clients to voice note check-ins. They text and I'm like, excuse me, can I have that in a voice note? Or I put it in, yeah, I'm like, I can't read that. I haven't read a book since school. I liked a Silver Sword, The Silver Sword. It was a war book about a Jewish bloke who lost his family.
Is that what inspired you to win an overall and get your own sword?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's a good Instagram post. That. Cheers, man.
I once read this book, and I liked it.
No, I did. I liked it.
I am the main character.
Main character in every scenario. But yeah, it was a World War II war book. That was it. That's the only book that I thought was decent. What about you, mate? Have you ever read any good books?
So he actually asked me, Chip asked me in his check-in, and I said to him, I was like, I'm not going to lie to you and say that I read loads of books, because I don't. I would like to prioritize reading more, but I just don't know where I'd find the time, and it's as simple as that. I'm not going to prioritize it at the minute over everything else that I'm doing. But no, I said, and you'll know it. You know, Lemony Snicket, Series of Unfortunate Events. You'll have probably heard of the film or watched the film. Yeah, there's a series of it as well that came out. I think it was on Netflix for a while. But I read those books as a kid, and they were good. I read Harry Potter as a kid. That was good. In recent years, I've read like some of Gary Vee's books when I've been on holidays and things. I read Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography. That's really good. But that's, again, these are like years ago. I haven't actually read a book since Egypt. That's when me and Shannon went to Egypt. I was reading Gary Vee's book, Crushing It. I've read the book. To be fair, my favourite book is probably that, which is like, it's weird. To be fair, I mean, anybody can have their own favourite book, can't they? But I guess mine are more like that's like a business book. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird that being your favourite book. But yeah, I read that, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's down there. I can see it.
Yeah, I think everyone's read that book.
Yeah, it's good. It is good, that book.
Yeah, no, I feel like being a book reader is very like you're part of like an elite group. You know, like,
I honestly would like, and again, like, I know I could do it. I don't want to be like, oh, I just can't, like, because I could if I prioritized it. But yeah, I really would want, like, that's something I think, especially like maybe potentially with the new bike that I've got, that's something that I could do, because I can sit and it's easier to read. So that's something I could start like doing. But again, like I'll get up and I'll go on my bike and I'm getting back to messages all morning. Like I'll get back to messages for the whole half an hour that I'm doing the cardio anyway.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Right, I've got one. Where did you learn your PD knowledge from? Finley Roberts, so my client Finley. Where did you learn your PD knowledge, mate? For your own, experiments on yourself. You don't need
what
to.
it is.
It's disgusting behaviour.
What?
You think it's disgusting behaviour, peds?
Oh yeah, hate it. Can't stand it.
So I'm
No,
pro ped.
I have very basic knowledge on it, like enough to not kill myself or kill anyone else.
Yeah.
Which is more than what a lot of people. Like, I wouldn't say, to an extent, that's good. You'd rather that than someone who's got loads of knowledge that pushes people too much.
Yeah, you've got a definite understanding on like safer, and I say safer, but safer use.
I know how to do it. I know if I was to do it, I know for a fact that I would not be putting myself in a harmful situation. Obviously, I'd be putting myself at greater risk than I am naturally. I would not put myself in a harmful situation. So yeah, like I have very basic understanding of generally sort of how to do it in the right way, how to be smart with it. Generally what I would recommend using in different phases, but obviously you have more knowledge based on your own experience as well.
Yeah, and then also like it's something that I researched from probably about 17, 18. Unfortunately, the research wasn't going up to the biggest guy in the gym and saying, yo bro, what cycle should I take? And listen to them. So that's probably the last
300 megs on a Monday.
Yeah, 300 megs on Monday. But in all seriousness, what I pretty much did was like since I was about 17, 18, I've researched. I've pretty much been a member on every forum that you could imagine. I spoke to people. I asked questions. Not spoke to people in the gym. I spoke to people that I actually have respect for through social media or likewise in the industry. And then you get a rough idea. Like when you're in that kind of circle, you can talk to people. And I didn't actually run anything ped wise for pretty much any client up until the point where I had enough knowledge on myself, how to interpret blood work, how to almost kind of know compound to compound. Like I almost think about like if you were to draft every single compound up, so you could look down, let's say the androgen route, you could potentially look down like the growth hormone kind of area. Likewise, you could look at insulin. I almost think it should be an area where you literally know if a client was to come to you, and I have plenty of clients. I have a client called Tom, I know you won't mind me saying his name, who literally asked me a question probably about PEDs, I'd say every like 3 or 4 days. And every time he's like, mate, how the fuck do you know about this? Like he'd heard about something through a guy at the gym. And it's like, well, I've researched into every compound, what the utilizations of them are.
The thing is,
the actual kind of efficacy.
The information is out there. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You just have to put the effort in to find it. Same with anything. Like if a client asked us something and we genuinely didn't know, we would look in the right places to find out for them. Like, or you would say, right, look, I don't know, so I'm going to find out, or I'm going to try and find out for you. Like, if it was something that was like really sort of particular.
The thing is, you have to know where to look. You have to know where to look because the vast majority of cases, like it's either 300 mega test or 500 mega test. You debulk.
Yeah, you wouldn't just Google it and click on the first link.
And then it's like, I don't really want to pin. So can I do like Ostrine, or could I do potentially like Rad 140 or like a PPAR agonist or something like Cardarine that's going to be non-invasive to hormonal and HPTA? And it's like, in the vast majority of cases, like I feel like you could almost write up like a plan of just the most simple approach possible. And for the vast majority of individuals, it's like, wait, I only need to be in somewhat of an elevated like range of test. I don't need to have an AI. What? But you don't really know that. And again, it's not a one size fits all, but the vast majority of individuals, it's a very similar sort of approach into that kind of first exposure into androgens. And then it's more so individual needs based on blood work, based on compound utilization, and going from there, which again, from a coaching standpoint, is quite important. If you're an individual who's just thinking about yourself, hire a coach or put that knowledge into yourself, where I've never had a coach to oversee my peds. I won't need one really. I think the only thought I think last year was like, maybe from a competition standpoint, potentially it could require a bit more. But even now I'd be like, sound, I know what I'm doing. Like it would be fine. And that was through experimentating and thinking, okay, cool, this works, this doesn't, let's try that differently next time.
Yeah, like we've said, if you don't have enough basic knowledge on your own, yes, I would you could hire a coach, but also, do you want to put your trust in someone that much to just be like, oh yeah, tell me what to do and I'll do it? Yeah. Like, I think you should also know what you're doing. Like, so if you are told what to do, you know what it is and why and how much it is and the risk of that, like rather than just being blind, like, do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree.
Right. This is from Josh C. Fit. another one of my clients.
Mate,
So,
do you not answer any of your clients' questions or like check-ins or anything? Because
mate,
I get asked questions. All it is from your
why?
clients, mate.
He wouldn't ask this in a check-in. We actually talk about things that are relevant in a check-in. This is
Maybe you just don't reply.
thoughts on James English winning a pro card on his first
Sick.
prep. Too
Yeah.
easy now.
Yeah, sick. I don't know about the standards because I saw that Anthony Modello, whatever, who finished third in men's physique and said that the top two got pro cards. And I'm not joking. I don't know. Maybe it was the lighting or whatever. He was good. He was in good condition. But Jesus Christ, like he is not that good. He wouldn't win a PCO overall, and he's one place off a pro card. So I'm not too sure if the standards over there are not the best. But James looks mint. And to be fair, I don't follow him, but I saw his Instagram post where he's like, the feelings or when you accidentally win your pro card on your first ever prep. And like, I look at him and I don't instantly scream pro standard, but he's fucking good. He's very good. So yeah, fair play to him. Like, really good work. And I don't think he pretends to be like the most optimal bodybuilder ever. I think he's like been on like PEDs for the last couple of years. He's taken it relatively serious for social media, and then he's probably took it up a notch this year, and he's got a pro card. Very good genetics. Like, he looked really good when he burst onto the scene. And like I said, I don't follow him.
Only 22.
But yeah, he looks really good. So fair play to him.
Yeah, I think like for us to say whether or not it's too easy, it would just be like arrogant. You know what I mean? Like we're not in the right place to be like, oh yeah, he should or shouldn't have won his pro card. Like at the end of the day, it comes down to who's there on the day. It probably is, or definitely is, a lot easier than it used to be. I'm sure they used to just give out like one. It was never just like, oh yeah, top three. It was like one at like the finals and stuff, wasn't it? Like back in the day, or maybe like two if it was like really good standards. So obviously it's going to be more difficult back in the day, and it's going to be easier now when there's more given out. It just makes sense in terms of percentages. But most people do look good to get them. It's rare that there's someone that you think, what the fuck? Like, yeah, you have to look decent, don't you? You have to look like to a pretty good standard to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So Archie has asked, what do you think you would be doing with your life if coaching or bodybuilding didn't exist? I feel like we've answered stuff like this before.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? We said we'd generally probably be working somewhere within sport, somewhere within like still like health and fitness to an extent. Probably still trying to do something for ourselves if possible.
Yeah, no, I agree. We joked about working at Tesco during the last lockdown, didn't we? Stacking off coaching and stacking shelves at Tesco together. They're stacking check-ins on top of each other on screencasts, stacking boxes on aisles or whatever. So yeah, that could have been an option when we were getting pissed off lockdowns, and we were like, let's just go work at a Tesco. This would be a good.
Getting pissed off programming home training all the time, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. Doing too many like eccentrically challenged hold on contraction banded push-ups with cluster sets of ISO holds in between rounds. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this again. Macamorris has asked, mate, this is a good question. What's something in your opinion people don't utilize during an off-season phase? And then he put ... how's that for quality? Because we said, Macca, stop trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel for questions.
That's a good quality question, mate. That fantastic.
Great quality question.
Shout out to Macca as well, because he messaged AJ and was helping AJ out with his posing. So appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Yeah. So what do people not utilize enough? Is that the question? Yeah, in off season.
Yeah, I don't think it's utilized. I think if anything, it's like we could argue. We could say posing. Posing would be one. Like you like go through poses, but I would just say that the classic structure it starts to slip. Meal choices, you become a bit slack. Bedtime routine gets a bit poor because you don't have cardio in the morning or you don't have steps, and you just become a very much like a little bit sluggish, a little bit unstructured, and then food gets harder to get in. You opt for easier food choices, and that usually shows in the visual. Like right now for Macca, he's a month or so after prep, he'll be fine. Like he'll be good, but like give him another 4 or 5 months. Old habits will creep back in. That kind of structure from prep will you'll lose out upon it, and then that's when usually most people's off seasons go to shit because they just fall off slightly in comparison to what they were doing. So I would say, if anything, it's not utilizing, but just maintaining real good structure is everything, I'd say, in an off season. If anything, it's more important than a prep. Potentially could argue, but I think high food is a job, it's a chore.
I would say if you had to pick something, I would say that people just neglect cardio because it's like, it gets, like, say, you sort of come out of that routine. It's something that you can easily take out, and it's not going to be drastically different. You're not just all of a sudden going to get fat, but you start to feel it. You start to feel a lot more sluggish. You start to struggle to recover, between sets, during sets. It definitely does play a role, 100%. Like I say, posing as well as another one, same kind of thing, like posing fitness, but also just being good at posing. Like, it's going to be difficult if you only pose when it comes around to prep again. You think, oh shit, I've got to relearn all the poses and, get back into the swing of it. If you keep on top of it year round, not only will your composition look a little bit better in off season, but you'll also have better posing fitness, and generally you'll probably like how you look a little bit more in off season if you can pose a little bit better. But yeah, the list could go on. There's loads of things that people neglect a little bit in off season. Like I say, it's maybe not like utilizing a specific thing, but it's more so like having a few different things that people neglect.
Yeah.
Right, we need to wrap it up, mate.
Yep, cool. How many questions have you got left? You got loads?
I've got quite a lot. I'm going to have to go back to them next time.
Yeah, that's cool, mate. That's fine. I think I've got like 1 or 2, so that's all well and good. Right, that's that. Anything you want to leave us upon, mate? You started your diet quickly, didn't you? So you're a few pounds down?
Yeah, I'm a few pounds down. What was I? 2.
1?
Keep saying 1. 126 pounds. Absolutely shredded. 226 pounds. I'm like 6 pounds down from when I started, which was the other day. So, yeah. See, it's weird. Feels weird dieting, but I also don't feel like I'm dieting. Like, it feels weird, like looking to see if the scale's going to go down. But other than that, I feel the exact same, just not as full, which is nice.
Yeah. No, sound. I'm shredded now. I'm 6 weeks out. My legs, my arms, my chest and shoulders, 6 weeks out. My back, 60.
Back is still fat, yeah.
Yeah, back's still fat. So yeah, life's good. Life is good. So hopefully everyone's enjoyed the podcast. As always, thanks to all the story tags. Do apologise. I don't think it's actually that much shorter, but it feels
it is a shorter episode, yeah.
Is it? Okay, well, we do apologise. Next week we'll be back to normal, hopefully, because we don't have physio and we don't have to move a few things around. So yeah, that'll be that. Other than that, have a good week, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. See you later.
Bye.